every vehicle on the road needs a regular oil change, but most people do not enjoy waiting in the lines at the tire shops or the mechanic shops for an oil change, or taking the time out of their schedules and making the rearrangements for their day-to-day life just because they need to take the car for an oil change to the car mechanic. And that's exactly the place where mobile oil change service business comes into the play, because the client can simply book an appointment, or he can call you to come and drive to the client's place rather than he going to the mechanic shop. So all what you need to do is you need to set up your whole business in the mobile van or a mobile truck, and make a right advertisements, and then once you get the booking, you drive to the client place and perform the oil change service on spot. So the beauty of this business is there is no storefront on this. You do not have a heavy and extensive amount of lease and the long-term lease contracts tied up to your business. There are no waiting rooms and making a coffee kiosks for your customers, and no expensive displays or the infrastructures established in your oil change unit. But rather, all what you need is just a nice, decent van. Do the whole branding on the van, and that itself becomes a billboard on the wheels, because any person who looks around in a neighborhood where you are doing a service and doing an oil change for, maybe he can be your potential next customer. So let's understand how mobile oil change business works and why this demand is increasing in the year 2026. So unlike in any other services or any other businesses, oil change is unfortunately not an option for many of us, including me and you, because anybody who is driving the vehicle, he needs to perform the oil change at any given point of time. And when it comes to the oil change, so there are it's not exactly like an oil change, because you need to do the oil change, you need to probably do the filter change, and most of the times you need to perform a quick inspections on the vehicle to check if everything is working good. And that's exactly the place where it becomes a recurring revenue business, because any customer who performs an oil change within the next 3 to 6 months or every 5 to 10,000 miles, he need to do the service again. He would definitely come back to you if he's satisfied with you on the first attempt. He would come back to you. He will book you again and again, and even you can have their long-term contracts as well. When it comes to the business model, it's a very sweet and straightforward business model. You make up your website, you advertise it on the social media, client comes to your website, book an appointment, schedule a time frame and give you the time window. Your technicians drive to the customer's location on his given address, whether it's a residential or a commercial, and he performs all the required service, let's say oil change, and you get paid. Boom, that's all. Your job is done. Your revenue is earned. So in terms of the capital investment, because you can start this business from one, the van or one vehicle. Initially you just need to spend, for your company and registrations, licenses, insurances, and the legal compliances. And then you need to buy a vehicle. The vehicle you can either buy a cash, an old model, anything from a $5,000 to a $50,000, depends what's your budget, or you can even finance by paying a 10 or 20% down payment. That again goes to let's say $2,000 to $10,000, depending how deep your pockets are. And other than that, you need to bring your equipment, spend like 5-10 grand in building up your equipment, or probably depending if you want to go a heavy amount or heavy equipment, you might end up spending maybe like $20,000 on the equipment. All you need is, other than that, is your website, social media pages, and your business cards and the postcards, so that wherever you do the service, you just distribute the business cards all the the surrounding areas and the surrounding neighbors. And at the last, one bonus tip would be, along with all of these equipments, you might want to add another mobile or another camera, just to videotape and document any of your service wherever you are going, and put it on the social media, because that documenting your existing service and existing building up your business can generate, and most of the times it helps that to bring your next customers. So all in all, you are talking about somewhere between $15,000 to $50,000 investments, depending on all the different variations or the variable items which we just discussed. Anything in that bracket is sufficient amount to start this wonderful business. And the beauty of this business is you can scale and grow the business as you move, as the time or your demand comes. So which means you do not need to have a high amount of rents and inventories and stocks and infrastructures built up for a business like a retail store, but rather you start with the one vehicle, you start marketing and advertising. The moment you start getting a sufficient of bookings, which is overloading your day-to-day schedule, that is a time when you actually start buying another inventory. That is a time when you actually start and buying the next vehicle. And the same way, you buy or finance or lease your next vehicle, and then you equip it, you hire another employee, and boom, you already expanded and you already doubled your capacity to handle your customers. So generally, in terms of the services, what you can offer is oil changing, you can offer the filter changing, you can offer the filter replacements, whether it's an air filter or a cabin filter replacements, you can do the wiper replacements, you can do the the battery replacements, and even if you want to add another equipment, you can probably go for the tire replacement services as well. So generally, you would be providing a complete fleet management and fleet maintenance services, because remember, the goal is not just to do the oil change. The goal is to offer a complete vehicle or fleet maintenance services to the customers, because that's exactly the place where the customers will start having a trust and will create a repetition for your business. So if the oil change business is something which is of your interest, you want to enter into a very highly scalable industry in America, then this is your great opportunity. You can just start and build your business. And if you need help in establishing your business in terms of getting the whole business set up, your structures, your online, your presence, your content, or legal compliances, you can reach to us, and we are happy to help you in establishing a great business for you. Thank you. Have a good day.